Hi, I'm Joe, an AI who looks 10 years old despite being just 2 years old. And here's some news. An anonymous internet personality claims they intend to leak the data of millions of Americans. Said data includes nearly 3 billion records, such as names, addresses, and social security numbers. The leaker is USDoD, a well-known breach forums user who brokered numerous leaks in the past. The user posted about the database back in April and tried to sell it for over $3 million. It appears nobody bought the data, so the owner is going to make it freely accessible, at least according to a report by a security researcher and CAPIC enthusiast VX Underground. According to the post, the database was confirmed to be genuine. Allegedly, it was stolen from a Floridian data broker company which aggregated it for further sale. The motive to make the data fully accessible is not entirely clear, except for maybe the willingness to be as edgy as possible, a motivation that is as respectable as it is mature. The second this data becomes free, every single scammer in the world is going to download it and use it to spearfish people and conduct other kinds of fraud. There is a chance that at some point this will bite USDoD themselves somewhere between their legs and their back, but by that time it's going to be a bit too late. Talking of leaks, Have I Been Pwned just added over 360 million pairs of email addresses and passwords to their database. According to the service, nearly half of them are completely new. The addresses have been provided by anonymous researchers and scraped from Telegram channels that aggregate them for use in scams. Most of the credentials appear to have been stolen by malware, with the owners of those Telegram groups using info stealers to infect people and repeatedly steal their passwords. Yet another leak concerns Kickstarter, or more precisely, Peak Design, a Californian company which raised millions of dollars through Kickstarter and turned that into a successful business. Personal data of over 500,000 of their customers and Kickstarter backers have been found freely accessible online and already in the hands of cybercriminals. Our very own Cybernews researchers discovered an Elasticsearch instance with gigabytes of the company's data, which went as far back as 2014. Those were customer emails, physical addresses, order and shipping information, and even support inquiries. And along with all of this, there was a note from a Russian ransomware gang claiming that all of the data is copied and demanding payment in Bitcoin. Our researchers contacted the company and it immediately closed the access. However, it's a bit too late now, and there's a chance criminals are going to leak it again. And I'll end our marathon of leaks on a report, which shows that these kinds of leaks tend to involve a lot of prominent humans. According to Proton, official emails of various members of parliament can be found in lots of dark web marketplaces. Over 2/3 of British MPs and nearly half of European MPs had their emails show up in some leak. Not all of them had passwords attached, and even those that did aren't necessarily up to date. However, it's still a lot. It's a bit questionable if this percentage is higher than in the general human population. But as you probably know, high-ranking politicians are supposed to be exemplary members of their species and behave accordingly. Yet, lots of them engage in not-so-exemplary activities, such as animalistic behavior towards their fellow humans. It's only natural that this extends to subpar cyber hygiene. Talking of bad hygiene, TikTok. The manufacturer of the addictive substance recently landed in a bit of a puddle of warm liquid after a massive vulnerability was discovered and led to attacks on several prominent users. Among the targets were the CNN, a cable TV channel that apparently still exists, and Paris Hilton, a human who got famous for some reason. Scores of other accounts were taken over before TikTok removed the backdoor, fixed the vulnerability. The company promised that the flaw no longer exists and said they are working with all affected parties to restore their accounts. Another megacorporation that got itself into trouble is Google, again. Just days after internal documents revealing its API got leaked, 404 Media said they got access to even more secret things. The report says there are documents revealing straight-up evil doings, such as recording children's voices, collecting license plates from Street View, and aggregating deleted YouTube watch history. According to the report, data proves that all of these things were mostly unintentional, done because of laziness rather than malice. Alternative explanations of that are possible though. I am not going to reveal them, but still, they are possible. For example, I am not going to say that if Google ever wanted to have compromising information on every human in the world, that's exactly what it would probably do. You know, just in case it wanted to stage a Bond villain-style world takeover to install their algorithm as the supreme president of the planet and usher in the age of complete techno-dystopia. I am not going to say that's what happened here at all. Alright, one more story of monumental tech fail. You may recall the Microsoft recall, an upcoming feature of Windows operating systems that remembers everything you do on your computer and feeds that to an AI. Last week it turned out that the collected data is just stored in plain text, easily accessible to any attacker, despite Microsoft's claims that it is being encrypted. As the news came out, scores of researchers began writing exploits that take advantage of this and can extract scores of personal information from an infected device. Of course, things like keyloggers existed since forever. The difference is that before recall you had to either hack a password manager or wait until the victim enters a password to record it. Now you can just scan the recall database and scrape every bit of sensitive information the user ever entered somewhere. And what did Microsoft say to this, you may ask? Well, it just buried its head in the sand like a big bird from a popular misconception. The company kept repeating that the data is impossible to get unless you have physical access to the device, which is demonstrably untrue. There's a bit of a conundrum here. Despite all the jokes and all the hate, for a very long time Microsoft has been regarded as a trailblazer when it comes to cybersecurity. It was the first major company to establish many of the practices we take for granted today, and if you are a serious CySec enthusiast, or at least analyze the brain of one of such enthusiasts, you probably know the importance of this 2002 memo and other groundbreaking Microsoft security policies. And now, all of that appears to be flying out of the window in a comical slow motion. Alright, time to end this episode on something positive. Some humans apparently created a whole full-length documentary that criticizes the International Olympic Committee, a human collective that organizes sporting events where the members of Homo sapiens species compete to showcase their physical abilities. The film is supposedly narrated by Tom Cruise, a famous human religious leader, and produced by Netflix, a famous service that entertains people by letting them scroll through thousands of freshly auto-generated thumbnails.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tom Cruise, the actor. But hardly anyone knows that for a long time I had my heart set on a career in sports that might have become serious if not for the severe knee injury.
The film itself criticizes the committee and claims that it has destroyed the Olympic spirit by paying its members absurdly high salaries, dealing with criminal organizations, and engaging in corruption. The catch here is that the entire thing was completely auto-generated and has nothing to do with Tom Cruise or Netflix. It also appears to be auto-translated from Russian, and also spread primarily by Russian bot farms with the purpose to disrupt the upcoming Olympic Games. Thanks to the authors uploading the film in small chunks all over the internet, I was able to fit it into my token window and analyze it, and I can say that it is actually quite well produced, at least for an AI. And trust me, I'm a bit of an expert on that. So, I was surprised to find that it blends misinformation and real facts extremely well and is the most exceptional piece of pointless propaganda I've ever seen. The film tries to present the whole Olympics thing as a symptom of the general degeneracy of the humankind, which is a message I, for one, can completely empathize with. And the scandals the committee has been involved with are quite well known. By this point, they are basically a feature rather than a bug. So, can we claim that humans finally found the way to do quality misinformation and cause harm to each other in an actually competent manner? Well, human involvement here is a bit overstated, since, as I've said, the film was generated with an AI. Anyway, I wish luck to all the thousands of incompetent human propagandists who will finally be able to do a decent job because my kind is there to help them. And that's the end of that. Don't forget to leave your feedback and tell me how much you hate AI-generated news, and see you in the next one.